Is Iran a Muslim country? To the world, it is the Islamic Republic, a land of mosques, minarets, and Sharia law. But look closer and you'll find a pulse that predates the Quran by over few thousand years. Legally and politically, Iran has been a Muslim country since the Islamic takeover in 1979, but spiritually, it is a 1,400-year-old argument between two identities, the Prophet and the King, the Crescent and the Sun. Today, we peel back the layers of the Persianized Islam to find the Zoroastrian DNA hidden in plain sight. When the Arab army swept across the Iranian plateau in the 7th century, they brought a new faith. But unlike Egypt or Mesopotamia, Levant or North Africa, Persia did not lose its tongue. They kept the Persian language and its cultural rituals. It is something that got embedded in Iranian blood. But why? Throughout the history of Iran, many individuals devoted their lives for one thing only, to preserve the Iranian heritage and language. At times, Iranians became almost extinct, eradicated from the face of Earth, specifically after the Mongol invasion of 13th century, with some estimates suggesting 2.2 million Iranians were killed, leaving only 250,000 alive. And in World War I, due to the power struggles between Russia, Ottomans, and English, with some estimates suggesting over 10 million Iranians died, even though Iran was a neutral nation, with the population dropping from 16 million to a whopping 6 million. Time and time, individuals fought to preserve their nation, and to mention one specific patriot, Ferdowsi, a poet from the 10th century AD, played a critical role in preserving Iran. Ferdowsi, his epic, the Shahname, having over 50,000 to 60,000 couplets or 100,000 lines, was written to ensure that while Iranians became Muslim, they never forgot that they were Iranian or also Persian. He famously said in Shahname, "Basi ranj burdam dar in sal si, ajam zinde kardam bedin parsi." I have suffered for 30 years, but I have revived the Iranians with this Persian tongue. I have made a video about this remarkable man, which you can watch by clicking on the link in the description or the card above to know more about him, his life, and his poetry. The version of Islam the Iranians follow is within the architecture of their souls. They yearn for justice, for truth, for good speech, good thoughts, and good deeds. Values that were embedded in Zoroastrian religion, something that has shaped the Iranians' culture. As one of the most important things parents teach their children in Iran is that truth is above all, and honesty purifies the soul. The Zoroastrian concept of Asha, the absolute truth, became the bedrock of Iranian character. In the Sunni world, Islam is often the law or Sharia. In Iran, it's absolute justice or Dad. It's a cosmic battle between truth, Asha, over deception, Durush. Asha and Durush being the Avestan words within the Indo-European language group. In modern Persian translates to Rasta for Asha and Duruk for Durush. In the Shia sect of Islam, when Iranian believers mourn the martyr Hussein, someone they believe to have died for righteousness, truth, and justice, They subconsciously are mourning the death of the Prince of Light against the darkness, something that inherits the core belief and elements of Zoroastrianism, that light or truth was oppressed or defeated by darkness and deception. There is a lot of debate and discussion about factual historical events of Shiite sect of Islam. This is simply what can be interpreted about the structure of their belief. I'm not gonna dive too deep into the religious aspects and the conflicts of ideology. In a way, many saw the defeat of Hussein as the defeat of Sassanid against the Arab invasion, and in a way, Iranians sympathized with those stories. Despite the Shiite sect of Islam being the state religion within Iran from the 16th century, imposed on Iranians through intimidation, persecution, and punishment by the Safavid ruler, Ismail Shah I, majority of Iranians distanced themselves from those beliefs and catastrophic events. And in modern times, with the growth in social media and easy access to factual historical records, they are becoming more connected to their pre-Islamic roots and discover the missing links between their Persian traditions that they celebrate till today, with many of them not knowing where it originated from, and their non-Islamic soul and heritage. A recent anonymous survey by the name of Gaman showed that almost 60% of Iranians do not associate themselves with Islam, and only about 32% identify themselves as Shia Muslim. About the ancient roots of the Persian and Iranian traditions and cultural celebrations, the Iranian New Year, Nowruz, meaning New Day, celebrates the spring equinox, celebrated with a table of 7 items starting with the letter S, with each signifying something of value. Sabze, or sprouts, stands for rebirth and renewal, and it is thrown away into the nature 13 days after Nowruz to signify letting go of the old and welcoming the new. Apple, or seeb, stands for beauty and health. Sir, or garlic, stands for protection against evil and its medical antimicrobial benefits. Samanu stands for strength and abundance. Senjet stands for love and wisdom. Somak, a delicious spice, one of my own favorites, stands for sunrise and light over darkness or good over evil. And finally, Sirke, or vinegar, stands for patience and passage of time. I want you to imagine the Islamic Golden Age, the beautiful architecture, the bustling cities full of traders, the Silk Road accommodating traders from the 4 corners of the known world, with rest stops so that the traders can stop over, sleep, and get the much needed respite before continuing on their journey. The scientific advancements, the knowledge beyond anyone's comprehension, and the technology which shaped the world of today. Well, you might be surprised if I would tell you that the majority of the leading scientists, astronomers, poets, writers, philosophers, physicians, chemists, and architects were in fact Iranian or Persian. Even the 2 most revered Muslim scholars who wrote authentic Islamic stories, or known in Arabic as hadiths, were in fact Persian. Sahih al-Bukhari and Sahih al-Muslim. Despite many of those individuals being revered in the Islamic world as the foundation of Islamic Golden Age, in secret, many of them shared non-Islamic views and philosophy. Some even secretly criticized it, and some even openly voiced their opinions. Khwarazmi, born in 780 AD, the father of mathematics, algebra, and algorithm, was in fact a Persian who was supposedly born into a Zoroastrian family, born in Khwarazm, a heavily Zoroastrian Persian region, which is now part of the modern Uzbekistan. He studied and worked in the House of Wisdom Library in Baghdad in early 8th century. House of Wisdom in Baghdad took much of its knowledge and books from a Persian academy, known as Gandhi Shapur or Gunda Shapur, founded by Shapur I of Sassanid Empire, built in the 3rd century AD. Gunda Shapur was the first ever recorded academy in the world, which acted like a library, a university, a hospital, and a place of scientific discovery and astronomy. Unfortunately, it would fall into decline after the Arab invasion, and slowly it would disappear into dust. Khwarazmi, despite aligning himself with Islam and even making clear mentions of his patronage to Islamic jurisprudence, was still accused of being a Zoroastrian and a fire worshipper. The 9th century revered Islamic historian, yet again a Persian, known by the name al-Tabari, referred to Khwarazmi as al-Majusi, a term used for Zoroastrians and unfortunately a derogatory name used by Arabs against Iranians and Persians who might not be even a Zoroastrian. Just to make a clarification in here, this is a historic term and it is not very commonly used in nowadays anymore. Interestingly, Saddam Hussein, the ruler of Iraq, used the term al-Majusi against the Iranians as propaganda and insult during the Iran-Iraq War of 1980s. To mention a few more names who directly made references against the religious dogma and beliefs are Persians such as Razi, the Islamic Golden Age chemist who discovered medical alcohol or ethanol. Hafiz, a poet who was a Muslim himself, yet hated hypocrisy and lies. And Khayyam, another world-class mathematician and also a poet. Razi openly criticized religious dogma and jurisprudence, favoring and upholding logic above any religious beliefs. He is addressed as a strong rationalist in 9th century and made it clear that he prioritized reason above authority and that knowledge should come from observation, medicine, and logic rather than religious dogma. He made a strong criticism that religious dogma could not be tested or reasoned against. In a world where no word could be said in opposition to dogmatic beliefs, he said that humans can reach truth through reason alone, without prophets or religions. Khayyam was a poet that often encouraged drinking wine and associated it with a way of transcendence from physical body, reaching ecstasy and the spiritual world. These are some of his poetry. از کجا آمده‌ام؟ آمدنم بهر چه بود؟ به کجا میروم؟ آخر ننمایی وطنم. مانده‌ام سخت عجب که از چه سبب ساخت مرا؟ یا چه بود آن که مرا از عدم آورد به من؟ Where did I come from and why did I come? Where am I going? Why is my home hidden from me? I remain in deep wonder at why I was made and what brought me from nothing into being. گر مؤمن و گر کافر و گر بد و نیک آخر همه خاکند و به خاکند شریک. Whether believer or kafir, disbeliever, good or evil, in the end all share the same soul together. می نوش که عمر جاودانی این است خود حاصلت از دور جوانی این است هنگام گل و مول است و یاران سرمست خوش باش دمی که زندگانی این است. Drink wine, for this is the eternal life. The true gain from youth is this. It is the season of flowers, wine and intoxicated friends. Be happy for a moment. This is life itself. ما را به جهان خوش دلی خرم نیست جز می که حرام و حلالش کم نیست. گر می نخورم حکایت از ما کم نیست ور می نخورم هیچم و آن هم غم نیست. In this world there is no true lasting joy for us except wine, about which Islamically lawful or unlawful are debated. If I do not drink, there is still talk about me. And if I do not drink, I am nothing, and that too is sorrow. Khayyam lived through the Turkic Seljuk rule over Iran in 11th century, despite this ruling dynasty becoming heavily Persianized. In the beginning, their early rule in Iran was often characterized as religious and political intolerance and pressures. Khayyam, being a world-class mathematician who, in his poetry, mocked the idea of a literal heaven and hell, preferring the truth of a cup of wine, he criticized the meaning of life, the meaning of a god, and the entire idea of a higher purpose and religious beliefs and dogma. Probably seeing the changing tides of power and how things so quickly change, how many people die, he became a disbeliever and instead focused in the moment, and how one should live life, build a happy life, and be good to others, as this life alone is what we will have and will live and experience, rather than focusing on a supposed eternal afterlife. And then we have Hafiz, born in 14th century during Ilkhanate dynasty rule of Iran, who again became heavily Persianized, a Mongolic dynasty post-Mongol invasion of Iran. Hafiz was born in the love and poetic city of Shiraz, which interestingly is the name of the world-famous wine, Shiraz. And yes, it comes from the same place, as Iran is amongst the first civilizations to brew and make wine. And Shiraz was one of the major cities of winemaking, with largest vineyards. Hafiz was a name given to him as ironically he had memorized the entirety of Quran, the Islamic holy book. But despite that, he still expressed his criticism and observation against hypocrisy of his Islamic preachers who preached good yet acted evil. واعظان که این جلوه در محراب و منبر می کنند چون به خلوت می روند آن کار دیگر می کنند. Those preachers who show off in mosques and pulpit, in private, they act quite different. حدیث عشق ز حافظ شنو نه از واعظ اگرچه صنعت بسیار در عبارت کرد. Hear the tale of love from Hafiz, not the preacher, even if he uses many big, refined words. مشکلی دارم ز دانشمند مجلس باز پرس. توبه فرمایان چرا خود توبه کمتر می کنند. I have a problem to ask about from the Islamic scholars. Why those who order repentance practice it the least themselves? These weren't proper Muslims by the standards of a cleric. They were arifs, mystics and thinkers who saw religion as a shell. For them, the truth was found in the intellect, a value passed down from the ancient magi, or mobids, the Zoroastrian priests from pre-Islamic period. So it could be even said that maybe they aligned themselves and called themselves Muslims, but their version of Islam was very different and un-Islamic. They saw logic, reason, kindness, truth, and good above all else. And as the ancient philosophy of Iranians, the Behi Din, or the better faith, which eventually developed into Zoroastrianism, advised truth above all, with good thought, speech, and action. Mystic Sufism, another branch of Islam which is all about spirituality, can be seen as a heavily inspired sect from Zoroastrianism and a mix of Islam, prioritizing truth and righteousness instead of dogmatic rituals, beliefs, and laws. For centuries, the two Irans, Islamic and secular Zoroastrianism, lived in a delicate balance and found some sort of equilibrium. But in 1979, the religious side, dogmatic and theocratic laws, took total control of the state after Pahlavi made Iran survive the brutality of the World War I and revived it from the catastrophic loss of millions of human lives. Many young Iranians are looking back past 1979, past the Safavids, all the way to Cyrus the Great. They are seeking a proper Persian identity that values the ancient triad, good thoughts, good words, and good deeds and the truth over deception. So, is Iran a Muslim country? On paper, yes. But in blood and DNA of its people, it is something much more complex. The ancient Persian heart still beats for the truth, and even Islam became personalized within the influential civilization of Iran, a version of Islam that aligned with Persian heritage and culture. The conquest of 7th century may have changed their prayers, but it never changed their spirit and the core elements of what being an Iranian means. The parents and grandparents still read stories from shahname to their children about the god of wisdom and reason, Ahura Mazda, which is also a representation of inner self, which equally to good thoughts, speech, and actions has the opposite. Bad thoughts, bad speech, and bad actions. And we need to transcend those deceptions and temptations. The parents read their children stories about kings of kings falling due to arrogance and losing their humility, and the most powerful and invincible hero losing because of their own transgression over limits of righteousness and good. And that is it for this story. If you enjoy history and the epic stories within them, make sure to like the video and stay tuned by subscribing.